Ah, welcome back, Slayers. We have our first Marvel Rivals video on the channel. Today, we're taking a look at all the balance changes coming to Season 1, starting with our Vanguard adjustments. So, we're getting a reduced delay time for shield restoration after releasing the Living Legend on Captain America. Also, reduced Liberty Rush cooldown from 12 seconds to 10 seconds, increased base health from 650 to 675, reduce energy costs for releasing Freedom Charge, our ultimate, from 3400 to 3100, and reduction to the additional health provided per second to self after releasing it from 110 to 100. Quite a quite a substantial buff, I would say. So where are my Captain America believers at? You might see a lot more play out of him now going in that high ELO. Now, there will be a damage fall off to the Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom starting at 5 meters and reducing to 70% at 8 meters on Doctor Strange. Slightly decreased to the shield value recovery rate after releasing shield of the Separim from 80 seconds to 70 seconds. Now, essentially, what this means is that you would block some damage now and then fire. Your shield won't be back as quick to kind of just pop in like that with it. So do keep that in mind when we go forward. Then the range on this will be reduced. Thor is receiving a buff, increased base health from 500 to 525. Excuse me, from 600 base health to 625. There's actually a typo here on their website. So hopefully all the other values are as correct as they can be. Who will know? I have to come back and proofread it again. We're also getting an added immunity to control effects during God of Thunder ultimate ability. So this, I think, would be huge because a lot of times you kind of pop this and then you just die. It was kind of wasted. But not being able to, get crowd controlled through it. So, say Penny's web, the sleep effect from Mantis, things like that. You'll be immune to that when doing that ultimate. Slight nerf to Hulk. They're reducing the indestructible guard gamma shield value from 250 to 200. So do expect a little less tankiness in those clinch situations. Venom's getting some work done as well. They're increasing the symbiotic resilience bonus health ratio gain per lost health point from 1 to 1.2. And they're increasing the base damage of Feast of the Abyss ultimate ability from 40 to 50, which is pretty nice. This is kind of the damage it's doing now. Righty, that wraps up our Vanguard. Let's get into the duel list, starting off with Black Panther. They're reducing the additional health provided to self after refreshing your Vibranium marks. They're from 40 to 30. The upper limit of additional health provided from 120 to 75. That 120 to 75 is going to be a lot more noticeable, I would say. So do expect probably a little less play out of them, I would say, because now you got a lot of health. You can get in, be in there, and really just kind of mess them up. Now you're gonna have to be a little more meticulous with it, especially if you're not getting any heals. Ooh, let's go, guys. Black Widow. This is one of my favorites. Increase the range of the first effect of Edge Dancer from a 3-meter radius to a 5-meter radius. They're also reducing the time required for Fleetfoot to recover from 0 stamina to full from 12 seconds to 4 seconds, guys. That is huge because this just sprinting around the map, put on this drainer down. And when you jump, it takes a much more chunk of it as well. Here we are. Look how slow this is. 12 seconds of this just to get to full charge. Being down to 4, I think we'll see, a little more play out of Widow now, especially with Hawkeye changes that we're about to get into as well. And then lastly, they've also reduced the time required for our ultimate, the Electroplasma, to reach maximum power from 1 second to 0.6. I think that should play very nicely in our upcoming meta. You can see the charge by it getting to the ring there, filling up that white area. Now, regarding Hawkeye, they're slightly reducing the spread angle between every 2 blast arrows. reducing the triggering distance of passive ability 60 meters to 40 meters. So now you're gonna kind of get in that mid range now to really benefit and dominate with it. You're also reducing the maximum additional damage of the passive from 80 to 70. That should feel nice. I think there's still gonna be some good two tap potential at some nice ranges. I don't think it's gonna be anything too crazy to where, oh, he's unusable now. I think he's still gonna be very strong. You may still see some bands going into Diamond and getting into those higher ranks as well. I do like the Black Widow contrast, so you may see her played more than Hawkeye just from that sprint. Now going into Hela. Simply based on these notes here, they're just reducing our max HP of 275 to 250. They haven't mentioned anything about any damage, so still got that two tap hit scan across the map, damn near. I'll be left with 10 if they have 275 HP. Their personal favorite, guys, Magic. Queen of Limbo needed an increase her threat after unleashing her ultimate ability. Umbral incursion damage in Dark Child will be increased from 115 to 135. Umbral incursion. I think it's going to play very nicely, guys. Because it was a little lackluster, and I think it makes up for while you're in the ult not getting the up slash that you would get when you're not in the ultimate. I think that's a pretty good change there. Moon Knight's receiving some love as well. They're increasing the number of talons generated by Hand of Khonshu, our ultimate, from 10 to 14. A little more area denial there. They're also increasing the explosion radius of each talon from 4 meters to 5 meters. I will be doing another side by side comparison for different things like this, so we can see how they actually look. Namor receiving some love. They're just adjusting the throwing feel of the Maestro Swarm. And she just make it more sleek so you can more accurately throw them to the desired location. Thylock, her Dance the Butterfly ultimate, eventually will check for barriers, including Magnetos and any other shields for that matter. An interesting change here for Punisher, they're slightly reducing the spread of deliverance and education. Yeah. This is kind of how the recoil pattern is now. It's not too crazy. When you start getting that mid to long range, things kind of get a little weird, but still it's pretty manageable now. So he's gonna be crazy. He's already crazy now, guys. Now it's just gonna be pure beams across the map. Or the witch is getting some love as well. They're increasing the chaos control's fixed damage from 50 a second to 60 a second. It's a 10 increase. They're also reducing the percentage damage per second from 5% to 3%. They're increasing our Sithonian burst projectile damage from 30 to 35. So we'll get a slightly increase there to kind of, bounce between these like you normally would. It should feel a bit smoother. Another kind of a weighted change and everyone's been asking for. So Storm's getting some work. They're increasing the wind blade projectile speed from 100 meters to 150 meters and left click damage from 50 to 55. Increasing the bolt rush damage from 70 to 80. After releasing the Omega Hurricane, our ultimate, the bonus health provided for herself will be increased from 350 to 450. A nice extra survivability there. And then the extra health will no longer vanish instantly, but will instead diminish at a rate of 100 per second. Squirrel Girl. New effect to the Unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami, our ultimate. Squirrels will rush towards the nearest enemy after bouncing instead of bouncing randomly. And now, to combat that, they're reducing the Squirrel Tsunami health from 600 to 300. Not a full overpowered buff. It's being kind of in line by reducing that HP. We should be able to see some better returns on this. Good golly, guys. Winter Soldier. They're increasing the bonus health provided by the Bionic Hook and Tainted Voltage from 30 to 40. A little more survivability there. They're increasing the rate of Stern's projectile damage from 70 to 75. Reduce the area damage from 70 to 65 and reduce damage decay from 65% at 40 meters to 60%. More importantly, we're getting an increased base health from 250 to 275. It looks like he's kind of taking Hella's place in terms of that HP value. Marine's getting some work as well. He's getting a base health increase from 300 to 350. reducing the damage reduction ratio provided by the undying animal from 50% to 40%, and keep him in line. Well, that wraps up our duel list. Let's get into these strategists. It's an interesting one here, guys. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Cloak and Dagger. They're getting a reduction to the storm cooldown from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. They also increase the number of dashes in Eternal Bond from 3 to 4. That's an interesting change to me, guys, because right now, currently in the state of the game, 3, if played right, is actually pretty strong. But now getting that extra one to kind of even push into the point even more is actually a bit crazy. So interesting to see kind of how that plays into the meta, and if they decide to walk that change back. Jeff the Land Shark. Ultimate ability range from a 10-meter spear to a 10-meter radius. 5-meter high spell field. They're increasing the healing of Joyful Splash from 40 a second to 150. That should be pretty nice. Luna Snow. They're increasing the interval of switching between healing and damage in Fate of both worlds from 0.1 seconds to zero point 0.5. This is currently how it looks. If you guys didn't know, you can literally just keep spamming this, and your full team will be healed and damage buff 100% of the time for 12 seconds of our ult. Now, if you're on PC, to make that even faster, you can bind it up to scroll wheel up and scroll wheel bottom for your healing one and the attack one, and that'll just make it look even faster. So they're not actually nerfing any of the healing capabilities. So it's still going to be pretty overpowered. So that's interesting. We got to see as kind of the season rages on if they do any more tweaks to it. Going over Mantis. This is, I would say, it's a kind of a huge one, guys. They're reducing the Nature's Favor, our passive, the movement boost from 2.5 meters a second to 1.5. You see how fast she kind of is now, right? So if you happen to die and get picked off, you can kind of get back quick. Now, with that slight reduction, I think you might notice it a little bit when you're in overtime and you need to get back in contest point. Lastly, on our list, Rocket Raccoon. They're increasing the healing of the repair mode from 60 per second to 70 per second. Overall, lots of, I would say, healing buffs. Not really any nerfs to the amount of healing being done. It's just a minor thing with Mantis in terms of her speed. And they kind of use that to say they reducing her roaming support capability. But now you got to be a little more strategic with her since she won't be as fast anymore to cover distance. Lastly, to close us out, they're actually doing some team up ability changes. So Hawkeye and Black Widow, they're going to reduce Hawkeye's season bonus from 20% to 15%. Hela Thor and Loki, they're reducing Hela's season bonus from 20% to 15%. Luna Snow and Namor, they increase the frozen spawn damage from 25 to 27. They increase the frozen spawn slowing effect applied to hit enemies from 25% to 30%. They increase Berserk State frozen spawn damage from 16 to 18. Then Rocket Raccoon, the Punisher, Winter Soldier, reducing the cooldown of ammo invention from 45 seconds to 40. And Scarlet Witch and Magneto, a bit underwhelming. They're increasing the metallic fusion projectile damage from 55 to 60, and the spell field damage from 30 to 35. And lastly, Thor, Storm, and Captain America reduce the cooldown of Charge Gale from 20 seconds to 15 seconds. And they increase the damage of Charge Gale 50 to 55 seconds. Not bad for our patch notes going into Season 1 Eternal Night, launching on January 10th at 1 a.m. PST. And with that launching, there will be Twitch drops, guys. You can earn these beautiful rewards here from watching any participating stream for 4 hours for the total amount of rewards. So feel free to come by to the lounge and hang out in Slayerville and earn your drops.